Let's now refocus on the bilateral talks between the two presidents and take a look at the outcome of those talks. The U.S. has backed Kenya's military action in Somalia against the Al-Shabaab insurgents. The U.S. president says his country will continue to provide financial, technical and training assistance to Kenya's security forces.
At the center of the bilateral talks between the two countries at status was the terror threats facing Kenya. The two nations resolving to scale up the war on Al-Shabaab in Somalia to stabilize the Horn of Africa region.
What we discussed was the importance of, number one, continuing the effort to root out Al-Shabaab's capacity inside of Somalia, working jointly. And as we speak, Kenya is working with Ethiopia and with the United States and others to further degrade Al-Shabaab's space of operations inside of Somalia.
We are satisfied with what we're doing. We need to expand that more because the battle that we're fighting is not a Kenyan war. Kenya just happens to be at the frontier of it, being a neighbor to a country that for a long time has not had any kind of formal government.
Nonetheless, in the face of violent extremism within the country's borders, the U.S. president challenged and warned the country to change its approach in dealing with the communities and lobby groups not to provoke radicalization from the affected communities. The Somali community and its business class in particular have cried foul on crackdowns mounted by security forces in the country's counter-terrorism measures.
If in reaction to terrorism you are restricting legitimate organizations, reducing the scope of peaceful organization, then that can have the inadvertent effect of actually increasing the pool of recruits for terrorism and resentment in communities that feel marginalized.
He's also just mentioned working with societies and how to prevent especially extremists from finding a bed of fodder for them to be able to develop and to grow and to nurture the terrorists of tomorrow.
The states, however, backed Kenya's ongoing military action against the Al-Shabaab insurgents in Somalia. This despite calls from within Kenyan quarters to pull out KDF soldiers from Somalia to cede to Al-Shabaab demands on the pullout. The U.S. president saying the best strategy to deal with Al-Shabaab is to weaken their operations.
We have to continue to make progress in intelligence sharing and being able to identify and prevent threats before they occur here in Kenya and elsewhere in the region. Part of our announcement today involves additional funding, additional assistance that we're providing the Kenyan security forces to deal with these very specific counterterrorism threats, as well as additional training and assistance.
But the kind of fight we're having right now, this is an existential fight for us. This is something that we have not been familiar with. Kenya has always been a country that has respected different religions. This issue of terrorism is new to us. And as it is new, we learn with each and every step. We are improving our capacities and our methods of dealing with terrorism.
Obama regretted the issuance of travel advisories to Kenya by the U.S. State Department. The U.S. president distanced himself from the advisories, saying they were not political, but meant to safeguard the safety of the embassy staff and tourists in Kenya.
Sometimes be exaggerated, and that's unfortunate. And part of my answer, I guess, to that problem is to come here and visit and to show this extraordinary country and the extraordinary progress that's been made. We have systematically reduced the territory that Al-Shabaab controls. We have been able to decrease their effective control within Somalia and have weakened those networks operating here in East Africa.
There was general consensus between the two presidents that key among the raft of measures to stabilize Somalia from insurgency is strengthening the Somali government. Samugina, KTN News.